welcome back. You've joined HOG Auckland Chapter, and this is a ride leaving on a recent Saturday, last weekend actually, mid-September. Spring's really in the air. We've just left North Auckland Harley-Davidson, and we're heading out, being led by Murray. We're heading onto the Northern Motorway. Going to head up north to Oteha Valley Road, when we're going to get off and have a little bit of a tiki tour around through Dairy Flat, Coatesville, Riverhead, up Pike Road, then up State Highway 16, ultimately looping back through Warkworth and down the old State Highway 1. Ultimate destination is going to be Waiwera. We're going to the hotel. It's just across from the former Waiwera Hot Pools thermal resort, which sadly was let go to rack and ruin, and a lot of childhood memories are going to be destroyed there, but that's okay. Life goes on. Anyway, here we are. We just jumped on the motorway, and it's Saturday afternoon. I think this ride, this ride definitely left at 1 o'clock, and so it's probably about 10, quarter past 1 right now, and traffic is, I guess, fairly light by Auckland Saturday standards. We got off at Oteha Valley Road, and we're not going to do any kind of corner marking, regrouping just yet. The clear instructions were we get off at Oteha, we're going to turn left, and along here when we go into the Oteha Valley Road extension, I'm going to be dropping off as a corner marker, as you can see, as we cut through on a little bit of a shortcut through to the Dairy Flat Highway. Now, unlike last weekend when I couldn't catch a red light even when I wanted one, we did catch a red light right here, and it was perfectly timed because it allowed the whole group to form back into one entity before we turn on to Dairy Flat Highway and travel through the Old Albany Village. Now, as we head up the Albany Hill, we have a regroup at the top, which is the first regroup since the motorway, and that's what we've come to learn is pretty good practice, just to make sure, because a lot of separation can occur on the motorways, and it's difficult to know what exactly is going on behind you when you're at the front of the ride leading everybody on. So in this case, we've got total certainty that we're all together, and now we're heading off on our journey along Dairy Flat. We're going to head up Green Road here, which will take us through to Coatesville, Riverhead, and we'll eventually make our way via Old North Road onto Peak Road, and that's going to take us down to State Highway 16, by which means we're going to be heading on up, getting up towards, adjacent to Warkworth, where we're going to cut across on West Coast Road and head through there. But before we get there, we're travelling along Peak Road, which is really looking quite nice in the spring weather, and we did find around the corner here is a couple of one-lane bridges, and then we get to a passing, I think it's a golf club. It's pretty well patronised always, and as it turns out, the police were patrolling the area pretty nicely, and they'd managed to pull over somebody who was, for one reason or another, wasn't quite meeting with the officer's full approval, and he had his flashes on, and he was delivering whatever they need to deliver to these guys. But we just rode on past quite happily, no problems with our crew, carried on towards State Highway 16. Now, Peak Road, given the right traffic conditions, is a road that in certain areas certainly lets you stretch your legs a little bit, and maybe that's just what was going on with that little white SUV that got hauled up by the police back there, not quite sure. But anyway, it does lead through to State Highway 16, which we travel up. We've seen that a bit before. Nothing quite special happened there, so we're going to leap ahead through into West Coast Road, which bisects between State Highway 16 and across to Old State Highway 1 at Warkworth. Fantastic little route, lots of interest on this particular ride, and what we did find, I didn't film it unfortunately, but the road, or the roadside, was in quite a state, because there's been some, I talk about it a lot, there's been a lot of recent rain in Auckland, and I haven't seen this road in such a state for a while. The roadway itself was okay, but the sides of the road, there were so many collapses going on, with hillsides giving way and bare clay exposed. It was really looking a little bit wild there, particularly when forestry is coming down on top of the road. So it looks like they must have had a bit of a full-time job trying to keep this road clear and open during the heavy weather that we've been experiencing. But hopefully, with spring well and truly in the air now, those days are going to be behind us, and we'll be able to get some road repair done and some side of the road repair done to make sure that we don't just have this happen all over again the next time it happens to rain on us. Anyway, travelling down the old State Highway 1, which is a pleasure these days because everybody's up there on the elevated motorway, the toll road. State Highway 1's, the old State Highway 1 that is largely empty, so quite a pleasant journey now. And this leads us through up over this hill here to the Wendohome Regional Park, which is coming up on the left. And then as we cross a little inlet in Waiwera, we're going to be, well, I'll be pulling off. I'm right behind the road leader, so I'll be marking the final corner down to Waiwera Road, at which point we'll see the crew trickle past us. We picked up a few extra riders during the journey, especially up near Warkworth. I think we picked up one or two more riders along the way, and so our numbers swelled to, I think there are about 15 bikes in total once we finally reached our destination. Anyway, going to pull off here and mark the corner. You'll see everybody stream past. Away we go. In many ways, this little piece of the ride is a little bit sad, because this used to be a very thriving holiday thermal resort area for Aucklanders. It was the Waiwera Thermal Hot Pools. They've been there pretty much forever, but within about the last 5 years, I think, maybe a little bit longer than that, it's fallen into disrepair, rack and ruin, and it's just recently got the final death sentence that's going to be demolished, which is a bit of a shame. It's there to the right behind the blue wall. Anyway, our destination is on the left, the Sugarloaf Bar. Had a great time there, and we're just coming into parking. So on that note, I'll let this video wind down. Thanks for joining and watching. Take care out there. Ride safe, have fun. See you next week.